Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 32 of Shakin Hands. I'm your host, Jack Moran. Today on the podcast, we have Michael Rich, the founder of Paradise Cannabis. How we doing?
Fantastic. Appreciate you having me here.
Yeah, we met the other day at Red Palm and kind of hit it off. We got introduced by one of my buddies, Justice, and I knew right away you were a mad scientist, entrepreneur, and we started chopping it up, and here we are.
Yo, Charleston's lit, CHS. Let's go.
Yeah, what are you doing in Charleston?
I'm on a hurricane, to be honest. Asheville got devastated, so we came out here, just did a hurricane. We've been to Edisto, Tybee, now we're back in Charleston, and the energy's just fantastic here. Great.
You like it?
Yeah, it's fantastic for entrepreneurs. There's way more energy.
Why do you think it's good for entrepreneurs?
That's a great question. I would just say that, in Asheville, it's not as a community. There's more people here. You're by the beach, but also I don't know. There's a lot of wealth here, so I think that people were gravitated to come here in South Carolina.
Sweet. So tell me about your business a little bit. What do you got going right now?
Dude, so what I got going on right now is, I've been working extensively in the cannabis industry since I was a cultivator in Canada for 10 years. I moved to America in 2017. And so I thought I was not going to be working in cannabis. Then the Farm Bill got approved. We've been doing CBD, hemp flower, and now we're most recently just in pure cannabis. And so what I'm doing right now is with Paradise is we are basically providing a personalized consumer experience. So everyone's always been talking about indica, sativa, hybrid, but there's never been so I visited 2,000-3,000 smoke shops. I was doing the distro company, and I just kept talking to all the bud tenders. And it's yo, what is good for creativity or to focus or to chill or, just basically how you get vitamin B12, it's good for energy, or vitamin C is really, good immunity. There's never been anything like that in cannabis. That's what I found out. And so from there, I was oh, this is a great marketing play. And so from there, I just started I became a ganjier, I'm a cannabis sommelier. And so as a cannabis sommelier, you can smell cannabis and tell its effect. And so from there, I just seen that there was nobody marketing like providing personalized alternative health.
So as an entrepreneur, what was your interest in the cannabis industry from a business sense?
I would say I would go on something with Maxwell Gladwell. There's a book called The Outliers. I think I was born at the right place, doing the right things, doing the right, I got a BBA, a major in marketing on Vancouver Island. And, at the same time, that was my cultivation in the cannabis space was paying for my college. And so I was doing those two things simultaneously. And then through college, then I went into, branding, direct response marketing online. I was one of the first homies online. I've been marketing since 2006 online. And then I came to America, and then it was oh, cannabis is now something that we can sell through CBD or hemp and all that. And I was wait, I can bridge these two worlds. And so I feel I'm a bit of an outlier, just creating some alchemy.
Have you always kind of had the entrepreneurial makeup, or this was something after graduating? Or
Great quick question. So I would say that there's people that are extrinsically motivated, and then there's people that are intrinsically motivated. Yes, I love money, but when I wake up, I don't need money to obviously I'm a capitalist, and I like making money like that. However, intrinsically, I have something in me that just when I wake up, I'm I want to accomplish something. I look at the shirt. Hey, no SOP. Not everyone's going to know an SOP, but I love SOPs. I like KPIs. I like metrics. I like data. So I've just intrinsically always been really interested in waking up every day and making the difference.
Yeah. Do you think that intrinsic motivation is key as an entrepreneur, and that extrinsic motivation is a limitation for an entrepreneur, or is it just kind of person by person, case by case?
Yeah, good question. I think that I think we all probably start extrinsically because, they say money can't buy happiness, but, money can do a lot of things for you. And so once you get a taste of it, being extrinsically motivated is great, but like it can only go so far. So like that's when you see like maybe people like get like a Lambo or this or that, and they're like, you know, blowing their money, and it's like I'd rather just continue to like invest in myself so that I can wake up and do the things that like other people are unwilling to do.
What motivates you to keep going, like in entrepreneurship? What makes you get out of bed every day?
Dude, the process. I love the process. I love collaborating with the homies. So like right now I have a team of like 9 other VPs, and we're all like collaborating. And like right now, for example, in the fulfillment house, we're like breaking down like how long does it take to pack a package? How long does it take to like, you know, put the product in the package? How long does it take to like trim? How long does it take to make a pre-roll? So I like always continually to like better the process. It's like, dude, we saved 10% this month. So I'm always like after the process. That's what I really love.
So how do you, as someone who's like a new entrepreneur, someone who's like trying to start a business, what are like the first pieces of the process that you start to establish or emerge when developing a business?
I would say that like, you know, when you're going to like start a business, there's like a couple ways of looking at it for me. So the way I look at it is I look at the big picture, and then I look at the small picture, right? So like, you know, you have to take a step every day. You have to make progress every day. It's like, you got to, what's the best way to eat an elephant, you know? Eat the toe, one bite at a time, right? And so like, I think a lot of people get overwhelmed by the, you know, like, oh, I'm building a business. And it's like, okay, let's break this down into departments. And then you have the departments, and then it's like, what do I have to do? So like with customer service, you have this. With fulfillment, you have this. With merchant processing, you have this. So then just breaking it down into more of a granular form, and then kind of like just hitting each of those each day. So like making small progress towards your big goal is what I would like encourage people to do. It's like, it's overwhelming, but like at the end of the day, like if you do like 10 things in each of these different departments every day, well then boom, it evolves, and then you have a new plateau. And then it's like, okay, how do I improve and optimize this process another time?
How do you like, what are the indicators that make you enter into a business or make you interested in a business? Are there like a personal checklist, or are there like business fundamentals that you're looking at to say, okay, this is a good opportunity that I want to engage in?
That's like, I'm going to have a little laugh on that, because like, you know, like I see a lot of people talking about like, hey, you got to find your passion, you got to find your why. And I totally agree with that. Because like I think like, you know, if you wake up every day and you're going to a job that you don't enjoy, then it's really challenging. And so for me, I've always been a marketer. Like in grade 11, I took one marketing class, and I was just like, okay, I'm going to be a marketer. So like just having a path and having faith in yourself to continue to move forward and like what your passion is. I'm marketing. So then boom, next thing you know, I have a BBA. Next thing you know, I like go to an internet marketing company, and I'm there. But you got to like keep moving towards that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So what's a marketer like? How do you define yourself? What is your skill set?
It's a great question. As a marketer, I would say, how do I like put this? As a marketer, I basically like look at like, you know, like a channel or a category, and I'm like, how can I improve on this? So when I first entered into marketing online, it was all like branding. Well, then they came out with this thing called like cost per acquisition, like CPA. And what that means is like that I only get paid when I like, so I'll spend my own money on Facebook.
Cost per acquisition?
Cost per acquisition.
Gotcha.
So I'll spend my own money, and I'll spend like $30 on Facebook. But when I get a conversion, I get paid $90. And so, boom, I can like make $60 profit there. That's like a pretty significant profit. And so like as a marketer, I'm just looking for like areas where I can improve, right? So when I came into the marketing, it was like direct response was not really a thing. So I was like, holy shit, I can sell like, like, what do you call that? Like selling ice to, you know, an Eskimo.
Yeah.
Like I go to any big brand, Fortune 500. Like I've worked with Uber, Airbnb, Jenny Craig, State Farm, all of them. But you come to them and they're like, you know, they've just been branding on TV, magazine, radio. They never like did too much online. I go to them and I say, hey, pay me $10 a lead. So it was like really easy for me to sell. Same with when I'm in cannabis. You know, I come into cannabis. It's like, how do I like make an impact? Well, I create a new business model. Like I'm marketing people based on their creativity or their focus or their chill or euphoria. So I'm like basically creating a new market. And so that's like what I would say is like, if you want to like be a big player, then you need to do something different.
So let's talk about the marketing model a little bit. I have a lot of people approach me or like blast me with cold emails for marketing, and they all are retainer based. But for me, I'm like, I'm not going to pay you a retainer because it has no like, you know, there's no way to have accountability and performance. But if you want to get paid on leads, I'd be happy to do that. Converted leads, I'd be happy to give you a commission. How does that, utilizing that model, give you more flexibility and allow you to enter bigger opportunities by not having the client assume that risk of your performance?
It's like a pretty brand new model. Like direct response, it's been like going through magazines, radio. Like direct response isn't a new thing, but to like bring it into the internet world, I think that's like really what's changed the game.
Direct response?
Direct response meaning I get paid for performance. So like,
interesting.
I can come to you and like say it's like Jenny Craig and it's like, give me $100,000 budget. They just run ads on the internet and it's like it's just branding, top of mind. You know what I mean? Like top of mind advertising. Where like I come in and it's like more of like a sniper. Like I'll come in and I like market to people based on like their psychographics, like their age, their gender, their pain points and what they find valuable. And so like when you start communicating to people like that, well, like I'm basically doing what the big brand wants to do overall, but because they're a big brand and top of mind, they have huge budgets, so they have to do branding. But then I come in and sniper and I bring in customers like through a funnel based on what their actual needs are.
So let's talk about funneling a little bit. Like if you were to be given a new product right now that is not something that you've marketed before, obviously there's going to be like individual variables that you would apply to that marketing strategy. But what's the cookie cutter fundamental strategy that you follow when marketing something?
You want me to give my secret sauce? All right. So like the first thing I would do is say like, what are we selling? Like diet, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go on to like Reddit, or some kind of public forum, or I'm going to go to like other brands that are in this space, that are like have big market share. And I'm going to look at all their negative reviews. I'm going to see like, what are the negative things that people are talking about here? And like Reddit is like, it's a dumpster fire for great people, like just putting their shit out. Twitter too. And you start seeing like what their pain points are. And then, from there, well, then I can start like, that's just the beginning phase. It's like, oh, there is a market. If there's not a lot of negative stuff going on, but everyone's talking shit. So that's what I'll do is I'll just basically look at all of my brands, like reviews and see how they're like, basically what their pain points is. And if there's not a lot of pain points, then what's the point of being in that market? Like, I don't know, like right now it's like an interesting time. Like I was in one of the Facebook groups that I'm in and they were talking about like selling diet stuff. And they're like, dude, we don't know what's going on. Ozempic is like taking the market, right? Yeah, the Ozempic is like just like boom, 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 boom. And everyone's like trying to figure out how to sell diet again. Well, the number one way to sell diet is, you can have like short-term instant gratification, right? As like a consumer, you take your Ozempic, but like, guess what? To have a healthy lifestyle, that's like actually what's going to keep it off. So you have to be on Ozempic for your entire life. Who knows what the side effects are? But then to like, so you want to like focus on like creating healthy habits with people, giving them like, a calorie counter, are they actually motivated to wake up in the morning to do those things? I'm not looking for people that are just kind of going out Ozempic.
So it sounds like you've taken those pain points and then you're creating a value proposition based off those pain points. Now, what do you do with that? Do you create an ad off that or?
Yeah. So for me, like, our primarily ways of marketing.
I'm like cracked out off these freaking coffees already.
Yeah, these coffees.
3 sips and I'm just jump out of my seat.
From there, like what I would like to do is I would like tap into like Meta. Meta is kind of like my number one spot, Meta being like WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram. And so, we have a magnitude of ad accounts. And so I would just attack it going to Meta or, like you can do your fan pages and like start building a following and like interacting with it. But like, I'm just going to like create a Meta ad.
What's the biggest thing that you see people do that you're like, just throw that out the window?
Like, rephrase that.
Like the biggest thing that you see like businesses doing to market their products that you're just like, that's a waste of fucking time.
That's a great question because it really all will come down to like what that business's intention is, right? If they're just branding, like I see like a lot of weird branding ads and then I'm like, what the hell are they doing? But their engagement is so high. And so like, like having like, it's just really the intention. But like I've seen like companies like Chubbies, they have this weird ad going out right now. But the following, like they're making like no return on ad spend. but they're getting like more followers, more engagement, more people that are actually organically going on their computer and searching chubbies. So it really just come down to like, I don't know what brands are doing, but what's their intent, you know?
When you say branding, do you just mean like ads that are like propping up the company and like the company's values and their services?
Yeah, you know, like branding would just be like, branding is like top of mind. So like what I was taught in college, you know, is that it takes about like, and this probably changed because I graduated 2005, but like, you know, it takes 11 points. So I have to advertise to someone 11 times before they even consider me. And then you imagine like, you know, and you're in New York or, you know, and like Wall Street and you see all these ads and everything is like, so like, and now we have social media. So like, I would say that it's harder to be top of mind. So I like the, what's that chick off the Golden Girls? She does the Snickers ads. So she would eat a Snickers. That's top of mind. Like, dude, there's so many chocolate bars, but Snickers is like, so I'm hungry. I'm going to have a Snickers. That's top of mind. It's like kind of going into some
brand recognition.
Brand recognition. Like Geico and all those guys don't have to advertise, but they continue to do so because it's a competitive space and like they're like in saturated markets. So they have to be top of mind because like, dude, I'm going to go get insurance tomorrow. Well, I heard the Geico ad on the radio or I seen the online ad. So that's like always branding. It's just being top of mind.
So when you're evolving a marketing strategy and you get someone in the funnel, are you trying to get the sale right away? Like I always say, like, don't fuck on the first date. Or like, how are you kind of like nurturing and maturing that client to the point where they do make a sale or they do purchase with you? What are kind of like the steps to that process?
Yeah, so top of funnel is like, I would say the way I do top of funnel is I will drive someone to my website. I have all my retargeting pixels for all the different platforms. If it's going to be native ads through like Taboola, or if it's going to be Meta or Instagram or TikTok, I'll have all my retargeting pixels and my Google Analytics and my Google Tag Manager set up. So basically, like once everyone comes into my top of funnel, well, I have the potential of retargeting them. But like primarily, like when they come to my website, boom, I offer them some kind of incentive through my email newsletter. So when you come to Paradise...
Is that after they've entered the funnel or that's how you get them into the funnel?
That's how I get them into the funnel.
Okay.
Yeah. I would say like top of funnel is they come to the website, you know, I'm selling cannabis. So the majority of people like know what they want. It's not like I'm trying to sell like some clothing and it's like very competitive. It's like people just want cannabis. They know what the effect's going to be and what they want. So then when I get them when they come into my website, either like the funnel starts with like, if they don't buy, well, guess what? They sign up to my email list. So then my email list, I use Klaviyo. And so what I like about Klaviyo is it's like a personalized, I can like segment all of my data. So you come in and I have a welcome series. So you sign up to get 20% discount, incentivized. But when you come into my top of the funnel, it's like, welcome to Paradise. And I basically like tell them like what the brand stands for, what our intentions are, what we're selling, and what, you know, features, attributes, benefits. And so from there, then they get a welcome series, email 2, email 3. Well, let's say that like they haven't become a buyer. Well, and they go into the checkout. They don't make the purchase. I send them an abandoned cart or a checkout flow.
Yeah.
And so I'm segmenting. And like right now, so I'm starting to build a really big database. So I have to start segmenting my data. So like anyone that's engaged with my site in the last 30 days. So they come in the funnel, they still haven't bought. Okay, well, guess what? I'm going to send you an email. I send 2 emails a day. I'm going to or 2 emails a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I'm going to increase that to probably Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And the thing is, it's such a busy landscape. Everyone's like, don't email more. Well, I only email to the people that have engaged, opened, clicked, or been active on my site in the last 30 days. Because if I'm engaging with like the 60 and 90 days, I'm going to start having like negative feedback from Google, Verizon, AOL, because my ISPs are like looking at how many people are opening my emails.
ISP?
Yeah, internet service provider.
Okay, interesting. So what are those emails like? Are they are you trying to provoke the sale? Or are you sending more about like more branding stuff? Like what is the strategy for the email marketing?
Great question. So I'll give a shout out to William Blonde on this one. He's my CMO and head of branding. And so what we've been like really focused on is, you know, you've seen a lot of lifestyle brands. So I really look up to like Red Bull. You know, I got coffee here, but like, you know, Red Bull, it's like gives you wings.
Right.
Well, every skater, snowboarder, every extreme junkies out there, like extreme junkie, like I want to go skydiving, I want to do this. Everyone resonates with Red Bull. And so what we've been focusing on is like, cannabis, everyone's like kind of been focused on like, it's good for anxiety, it's good for this, it's good for that. Well, like in our niche, we can't like do a lot of medical claims, or well, literally zero medical claims, because just the way your cannabis is. So we are really focused on storytelling. So by storytelling, it's like kind of like Red Bull, like they're telling a story, hey, I'm a professional skateboarder, I drink Red Bull. Like it's literally like a bunch of stuff in a can. So that's what we're really focused on, is like storytelling and then incentivization, and I'm not like, I got VIP customers where I'm going to like, communicate to them different, but yeah, it's all storytelling, right? How do I give you like a few examples? So Burning Man, we had a bunch of the crew go out to Burning Man. And so we share the story of Burning Man, and like, so people like identify with it. We're just looking for like different ways of identifying with our customer in a bunch of different ways. So everyone's at Burning Man. People are like, oh, I love going to festivals. Well, guess what? We're selling our euphoric product, right? So at the bottom, we plug euphoria, because you're at a festival, you're euphoric. And so I'm really like trying to just do a lot of storytelling to have customers resonate with why they want to have our brand versus another brand. Because there's like, 1,000 cannabis brands.
So there's kind of like a psychological reason why storytelling resonates with people. Is there any other like psychological principles that you're utilizing within your sales process or to have influence over people?
Let's like break that one down a little bit more. Let's break that one down. Like psychologically,
like for instance, I would say, like I try to within my marketing, storytelling is one of them, but also like using suggestive imagery, which kind of elicits the dream. Like these are psychological principles that like get people to resonate with your product. I'm trying to think of another better example of like, is there any, I study psychology a lot because I think it's super
I love
applicable.
consumer behavior.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it's really applicable to sales. So I was curious if you are interested in that or if you're utilizing anything like that.
Yeah, well, the way I look at it is like cannabis has always been like, it's kind of like the devil's lettuce, It's like it's been like in prohibition for all of these times, but there's been a huge market for people, and like it's been kind of like, a lot of people indulge in cannabis,
yeah,
but they're not public about it,
right?
And so psychologically, what I've been like focused on, or not me, but us as a company, is like creating like an experience. So like we all like hiking. Cool. I go on a hike. Well, guess what? I bring my cannabis with me, right? Oh, I'm having a backyard barbecue. The boys are over. We're watching football, social. So I'm like basically wanting to like, lower the stigma of cannabis and introduce people to the ability to like enjoy cannabis and not be stigmatized, not be ashamed of it. It's like, I don't know. It's just, it's okay to smoke cannabis.
Have you dealt with any like pushback from selling cannabis or like entering into this business space?
Things have evolved a lot. Like, in Canada, like I come from a small island, and cannabis is like, we could go to the skate park and smoke up. Everything's chill. Coming to America was like, I ain't smoking, because like people have been incarcerated a long time here.
Yeah.
It's like kind of evolving, but like, I don't know. Go back to the question.
Yeah. So like, I don't know, just like, has there been any adversity that you've faced? Like maybe it's not even just from it being a cannabis company, but just in general, like what kind of like hurdles have you encountered with this business?
Well, advertising is like probably one of the biggest ones. Advertising like cannabis on Meta, they don't like us. Like recently, just for example, like, my cannabis or my Instagram got taken down. I have 15,000 followers. I'm building a great thing. I went from 3,000 views to 100 overnight. Like I've been shadow banned. And so then imagine like, that's just my organic traffic from my authentic self, right? I'm like putting out all these advertisements. So we've found ways to like advertise on these platforms, but like it's the Wild Wild West. It's really hard and it's very sophisticated. Yeah. So like that's just one like element. It's been hard to advertise.
Yeah. So like I say in like entrepreneurship, we call it taking the arrows. And I don't see you as being someone that would get discouraged in any way by losing your Instagram, like you're just going to keep plummeting on because you have that entrepreneurial makeup. But for someone that's watching this that may, not been through the entrepreneurial journey yet, like how would you say is the best way to deal with adversity and like hurdles that you encounter?
I would
keep the business going.
Yeah, I would say like, if you're out there and you're feeling adversity, well, you just got to keep doing it. And like one of the people I look up to is R. Williams. He's like, I got a bad marriage. What do? You just do it. Oh, I woke up and I got $5,000 in debt. What do I got to do? You just do it. Like you need to just do it and do it and do it. And if you don't do it, well then go work at Walmart.
Hell yeah. Do you think anyone can be an entrepreneur?
I think that like anyone can be an entrepreneur. I think that like the way that like society is, structured makes it like a little bit more challenging, and maybe not more challenging, but like people just get more in their comforts. Like, where's my phone? My phone's right there, right? I have a better phone than the president did in 1980, like right now, right? So you have like a lot of like all these different tools, and it's very distracting. Like a lot of like entrepreneurs fall into this like shiny object syndrome, right? And so what I focus on is like, I'm in cannabis. So there was another opportunity that came to me. And I'm like, I can make a ton of money here, but I'm not focused on my thing. So it's like, don't fall into the shiny object shit. Like keep focused. And then, yeah, like if you're not in, like anyone can be an entrepreneur, but it like really is challenging. Like this ain't something that you just wake up every day and you're like, oh, this is easy. Like, like I'm 41. When I was like doing entrepreneur, what was it, 2009? So it's 2020. It's 15 years of an entrepreneur. Like when I first started, I lost $108,000 from a homie that I thought was a homie. And guess what I did? I woke up and I did it. But outside of that, my family like helped me. It's like, I got to pay rent. I owe this dude all this money. So I'm just like making that money and paying him back, but also like doing whatever I had to do. Like I had to actually get a job. My uncle's like, come do some lawn maintenance. I'm like, dude, I'm cutting lawns. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm like, I was like, I was like putting mayonnaise and like putting some mayonnaise and some tuna, and, like just living like terrible. But I'm still an entrepreneur, right? And then like 5 years later, like I think a lot of people like come into their future and they're like 3 years after they've accomplished what they want to accomplish, they're like, oh, that was destiny. Motherfuckers, you could all have a little bit more destiny if you got like a little bit more want or need, right? But like everybody got to pay the bills. Well, guess what? I was paying my bills while I was an entrepreneur and I lost $100,000. So it's like, is everyone able to do it? I think yes. But like it's it's just challenging.
Yeah. I like when you say the shiny object syndrome. I've definitely dealt with that in the past. But as entrepreneurs, like I think that we do kind of have that ADD, and like we see the opportunities, we want to jump on them. But also, like you talk about like having passion to enter into a business. At a certain point, like you might not have that passion forever. So how do you like set a good end point where you can like exit? How do you like exit a business successfully, or like not get tied down to it forever and be able to move on to a shiny object, but without neglecting like the previous business? Like,
whew, that's like a high level question. I would say that like the way to do that is, so what I've done is like I've built an octopus. It's got like 8 tentacles. And so like in my business, what I've found is like someone's really good at merchant processing. Someone's really good at fulfillment. Someone's really good at customer service. And, like as a younger entrepreneur, what you want to do is like develop these relationships with people. Like, so what's your business again? You're like in the ecological.
Yeah, we do shoreline restorations.
Shoreline. So like, what's your octopus? Like you would have like someone that does soil, someone that does this, someone that does that. But like, those are your homies. Like,
right.
And so like, over your career, over like 10 years, like you got all the homies, and then all of a sudden, you're becoming an entrepreneur, and they're like, oh dude, you took the jump. Like I'm still working for the man. And working for the man might be a $300,000 a year thing, but they're still working for the man, right? And so then when you jump out, and then it's like, so you can empower people, but like that's what I would focus on, is like building my community really early, and then finding out what people are good at, and if they're in my niche, then I'm going to fuck with them.
Yeah.
You know, I've had like so many people go from like Uber and then the homie's like at Geico, and I'm like, oh shit, now I'm working with Geico. It's like, so like just keep your network, like your network is your net worth.
Yeah, I've kind of taken like a similar look at it. It's like, how long do I want to stay in this like specific niche? Like it can be scary because I want to entertain these other things that I'm interested in. But how I've like approached that is by like saying, okay, maybe erosion control isn't like the business that I am fundamentally growing. So what am I fundamentally growing? I think that like I'm interested in lead generation. So I can apply lead generation to a bunch of things, although erosion control is my niche. There's a bunch of like octopus tentacles that come off of that where we can broker deals, and I can utilize,
delegate or outsource some of those things.
Exactly. And so I can utilize like that space and the expertise within that space to enter different businesses. And then agreed, like having the impact is like a big driver for me. So like that entrepreneurial impact, that's why we do the podcast and everything. I think when you start building that community and people start like talking about their businesses and utilizing you to get their strategies for lead generation or whatever it is, that's what kind of keeps me going and like makes it interesting every single day.
Yeah, and to go back to like what you say, it's like, how do you get onto the next shiny object? Well, for me to be here right now, right? Like my business is running. I have a COO, I have a CFO, I have a head of fulfillment. And so like, you need to be able to like delegate, you know. For a long time in my entrepreneurial career, I always wanted things my way. Well, here's like, and this one's for like the viewers out here. This is like a badass one, right? So, you know, when the sun sets every single day, you know, does God look at the sun and say like, bro, you did not set correctly, or you did not rise correctly today. Like what, huh? And so the way I look at it is like, I used to get like very personally attached on like how I wanted things done because I'm a little bit of a perfectionist. And like, I know that my way is generally probably, I'm not going to say better, but you know, like I want things done my way. And then what I learned is like by delegating and giving that space, there's actually more innovation. So like when I delegate, I go, this is the objective. How you get there is not my business. If you want to collaborate while we're on the process. But that's kind of like my executive business coach, Eric, you know, he basically said like, dude, God don't care how the sun sets. And so it's really important, you know, when I create the product too, like Paradise, I created what I think is perfect for the audience. So I send out a survey to all my people and all the customers, and I start garnering like what it is that they want. I know what I think they want. So it's like, you got to delegate, and you can't be like super romantic on like the way that you want things done, as long as you have talented people that are going to get there. And, you know, over time, like my brand strategist, William, it's like, boom, boom, boom. Nate, my COO, it's like, boom, you have all these things. And it's like, okay, run with it. So that gives me the freedom and flexibility. And then we just have like high level convos, and then it's done. But that gives me the space to go out like I actually have a call today at 2 p.m. with some consulting crew from like Belgium, and they have a big brand that they want to take to market. And they know that I'm a cannabis sommelier, and that I've taken a company from $0 to $100 million in the cannabis space. So they want some time from me. 6 months ago, I didn't have time for that. But I have time for it today because I was able to empower those people.
So that's something that I've really struggled with is team building in a startup. What's your approach to like getting people, good people working for you and, you know, executing this vision? And how do you do it with low cash flow?
Damn, bro, you give me all the secret sauce today. I think that kind of goes back to like, you know, as a young entrepreneur, stick with your intuition, stick with your gut, but like stick with the homies that are actually making moves. And then like just keep building that relationship. So for like me and my entire team, the people that I've worked with, like we've been together for like 10 years. You know what I mean? Or like, you know, Todd, I met him in Panama like 8-9 years ago. And it's like a merchant processing thing. I'm like, what do you do? He's like, bro, let's just chill. 7 years later, him and I are working together on the brand, and he's taking care of all the CFO, responsibilities. I don't know how that happened. It's just building that genuine friendship and understanding. And then it's like, dude, when you take a company from 0 to 100 million, you get eyeballs. You know what I mean? People are like, what are you doing? What are you doing? And it's like, so then people are wanting to do that. So as a young entrepreneur, like, dude, put in more hustle, put in more work, like Will Smith said, like
one brick at a time.
One brick at a time, but also like, it's like everybody can be like doing this, and that, but I'm putting in more time, right? So as a young entrepreneur, you got to put in time. You know what I mean? Like when I was like weekly, I'm putting like 60, 70 hours and I'm going home and the lady's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, bro, like I'm working from like, we eat dinner, we do that. And then I'm working from like 9 till 1, going to bed, get up at 8 and just like putting in that time. But you got to build the network, dude. And so like once I had the network, then I was able to bring those people in on low cash flow because they know that I'm able to do something that they're not.
So it's credibility.
It's credibility and like, yeah.
What?
And having integrity too, right?
Yeah, valid. Super valid. Yeah, trust is everything, especially in influence. Like, people don't trust you, they're not going to follow you.
Yeah, I've been in the game for like 20 years and I never fucked nobody.
Yeah, and that's another question that I have. It sounds like you had a buddy or whatever that fucked you over like early in your entrepreneurial journey. What did you learn from that, and how do you avoid getting into business with those types of people?
Dude, I had the homie like do that to me. Did me real dirty, and I don't know how to like not do that. Like I made like hundreds of thousands of dollars with him when I was at the company I worked at, and then when we left, he just skipped town. So like I don't know, like my gut told me that this was a great ability, but what I would, if I were to retroactively go back in time, I wouldn't have scaled as fast. I think like I would have built that so I wasn't at such a disposition. Like losing $100,000 at like 26 isn't a good feeling. But so I scaled really fast because of the trust. So like, I think that it would be very important to like, create like plateaus or like identifying points. Like, okay, cool. Instead of going 0 to 100, let's go 0 to 10, 0 to 10, 0 to 10, build that like relationship a little bit more and then go to 20, then go to 30. I don't know. Like, dude, I rolled with my intuition and it just like bit me in the ass. I don't think there's like a lot of ways of like describing how not to do that other than just like kind of don't go all in, obviously, but you don't have to scale like from 0 to like 1 million overnight. Like,
is there any red flags that you look for in like a person when you first meet them that say like, okay, I probably shouldn't go down this path with this person?
Like the way that like things are today, it's like social media. So like first thing I'm going to do is I want to look at your LinkedIn. I'm going to look at your Facebook. I'm going to look at your Instagram. Like, dude, I'm not a private investigator, but I'm a sleuth, I'm like going to do my due diligence. And then I'm also going to like ask my community, like, oh, we have like 10 mutual contacts. Yo, how's Jack? Oh, Jack's the shit. Okay, cool. So I would like kind of use my network and like just do my due diligence. Like a red flag, I like listening to people's language and their body language. You know what I mean? Like for me, if I'm like going to educate someone, I would say like, hey, this is going to be like challenging, but it's an easy challenge. Like the way that I communicate with people is like varied, and it's like their body language, but like the words they say, like it's a weird way, but like it's basically like,
I agree completely.
You point a finger, you get 3 pointing back at you. So then when you listen to the language and then you just kind of pick up like these little trips and you're like, like, and as a young entrepreneur, well, you like sometimes are like wanting that instant gratification or like that success quickly, even though you see a red flag. And so it's like, maybe you got to dig a little deeper.
Right. Yeah, you can go against your intuition.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing that I look for is if a person's super transactional or, like you said in the beginning, like extrinsic versus intrinsically motivated. If a person's language is revealing that like they're motivated by money, that's typically like a big red flag for me for doing business with a person. Because for me, like money's nice, but that's not why I'm doing this. It's like impact. It's like having a positive impact on the world. What's the legacy I'm going to leave behind? It's the like loving the journey and the process. So when someone has language like that, that's more of like a green flag that, they align with my values. But when someone's like super transactional, just money, that's like, and those types of people reveal themselves very quickly. I think that's a major red flag for me, because when money's the priority and values are secondary, they have a much bigger chance of like fucking you when the opportunity presents
So when we
itself.
first met, right? Like, we're both successful entrepreneurs. And so, like, did we talk about money once?
No, not at all.
Right. We were just jamming, you know? And it's like, I think that, like, you know, I don't want to, like, give a bad impression on, like, people that have money. Like, that's a great thing. But, like, if that's all you're trying to flash and, like, materialism, well, like, maybe you can be, like, someone that I, like, strategically partner with or get an investment from. But I don't know if I fuck with you. Like, a lot of my, like, really, really successful friends, it's like you see Steve Jobs, he goes there, Zuckerberg, they all like roll up in the same clothes, they got a fucking Kia, you know, like they're just chilling. They're not like they don't need to like exemplify their wealth because like they already got the homies. Like, dude, who are you? So it's like when someone's like super transactional, like you're saying, it's like, huh, interesting.
And I think we talked about this a little bit when we met. Like, do you have to be a stick and a hard ass to be a successful entrepreneur?
No, not at all, dude. You got to be like good vibes, be chilling, but you got to be hard in the paint, right? You got to know how to communicate. Cause like, you know, that was one of the things when I was like in my like late 20s, early 30s. It was like, I was like a little bit more of a stick in the mud, you know, and I like communicated and it just didn't work out, you know, and my Eric, my like executive, you know, coach, he was just like, dude, I had some staff members bring me like better way to make a pre-roll. Right. And then we would have like, I'm like, dude, you just saved me like 15 cents a pre-roll. Like that's like a 10% save. Like, and imagine you're selling a 10 million pre-rolls.
Yeah.
This is a lot of fucking money. What I would do is go to the meeting. We'd always have like all the staff and I'd be like, bro, I'm going to give a shout out to Anthony. He just saved us 15 cents. And you know what that did is it created like a really safe space to bring ideas. So like if you create a safe space, always give credit for other people's ideas. Don't take credit for that. Like that, I've never taken like credit, but I'm going to stick in the mud. And the moment I become not a stick in the mud and I give credit to everybody else's ideas, then all of a sudden I created like an incubator within my own corporate culture and I empowered. And then all of a sudden it's like the next homie's like, dude, I got a better idea for fulfillment. And I'm like, tell me. It's like, bro, we just saved another 10 cents. And then you go in front of the whole group and you go, boom, Jack did this. And what does Jack feel? Jack feels great.
So he wants to do it more.
So he wants to do it more, right?
Positive feedback.
That's like one of the things that I always like think about is like, so like we're all entrepreneurs, like all the people in my group still are all entrepreneurs, but they're still coming and then they have an idea. Well, the scariest thing for me is like if they have an idea and they leave my space. So it's like, if you gotta go, you gotta go. But it's like, can I invest in that? Can I, like, how do I keep you, right? Because like most entrepreneurs, like the way I left my business is this. This is like actually a fucking hilarious story, dude. So I'm selling online ad space. Anna Melanie, this is you. If you guys see this, you're gonna laugh your ass off. You don't know this, but Cheryl, the CFO, I'm like starting to crush it, dude. Like I'm like, I know I'm making money. They like I like they invited me. It's like, who's the best sales rep? Whoever's the best sales rep goes to New York or San Francisco free trip. I crush it, dude. One of the sales rep, Kirk, he's got a 3-month contract. He's cutting it into 3 different agreements for like April, May, June, even though like usually it's like April through June to make like more insertion orders. So like I was like, holy shit. So I win this. And then I'm like, okay, I'm starting to like move up the ladder. I'm making like $3,000, dude. I'm like fresh, like 2 years out of college, dude. And I'm like, huh. And so I go to the CFO and I go like, look, if I outsell the business development, like head of biz dev and the director of sales, right? You got to buy me a donut if I beat Melanie. And if I beat Anna, you give me like a coffee. So I roll up, I don't know, I did like $200,000 or $150,000 or something in this month. And dude, I come up on the first and Cheryl's got a donut and a coffee for me. I'm like, dude, I just outsold my bosses. And so I'm just like feeling so, you know, I'm like, huh, they're making $10,000 a month. I'm making $3,000 a month. Something's not fucking adding up here. So, dude, this is wild. So I take the owner of the company, Dave Schwarn. I'm like, bro, sorry for having you, Dave, but like, this is old school shit. I'm like, bro, let's meet up. So we go onto a commission plan, right? I make less money on a commission structure they built. So then at this time, I'm breaking all the rules, dude. I'm working from home 3 days a week. Everyone else is in the office working 5 because this is my stipulant. I'm working on the internet. I would tell everybody. I meet with the owner. So I got 10 PTOs, like paid time off.
Yeah.
They will not give me what I want and I desire because I know I've outsold the 2 top performers.
Yeah.
I go out of the meeting. I just walk out of the meeting. I go up to the CFO and I go, hey, I'm taking my 10 paid days off. And she's like, meeting didn't go good. I'm like, no. That's how I became an entrepreneur because like
holy shit.
The company that I was working for was unwilling to facilitate a space for me to perform for them. It was so frustrating. So then I went out. I fucking did it. Then I lost $100,000.
Holy shit.
And now we here. But you know what I mean? That's what pushed me. And so that's why I like create like a really nice space for everyone to interact in my space is because I know how I felt.
You incentivize performance.
Yeah. And so like young entrepreneurs, you out there, or any entrepreneur, you out there, like, and someone is unwilling to give what you want, just be nice and, you know, earn that. Like if you are out actually, like the way I proved it was a donut and a coffee from the CFO. Like, I don't know, man. Like if you can get that information and you are performing, then just put it out there. And if you're not able to financially do it, well, then figure out how to save some money, man.
Right.
Like read T.R. Vecker, you know, like $1 Million Blueprint, figure out how to like budget and stuff. Like this is basic shit.
That was a fucking awesome story. My next question that I have for you, you were talking about like how you got to go hard in the paint and you can have fun, but like when it's time for business, you got to like buckle down. And you had talked about early in your entrepreneurship career or your suggestion to early entrepreneurs is the time is the like difference maker. What habits do you implement in your daily life that provide the foundation for productivity and being able to do those 10, 12-hour days?
Damn, more secret sauce coming out. Okay. So like for me, I think like the number one important thing for me is to like follow my morning routine. If I'm like, you know, if I'm out at someone else's spot, then I got to figure out how to do my routine there. So, but like for me, it's like, so I wake up, I have a shower. Okay. Immediately after a shower, I go out and I pour, my lemon water. So I like alkalinity. So I'm going to have my lemon water. Boom. Step 2. Step 3. I got the kettle going on at the same time. I have a tea. I'm not looking at my phone when I first wake up. You know what I mean? I'm just following a routine. The things that make Michael feel good. Water, cool, cleaning my body. Tea, I don't know, I like tea. Like I can do the coffee here and stuff, but like I don't know, coffee just doesn't get it going for me. So I just follow a specific regimen. Like I have 10 tasks, and I follow those 10 things, and then I enter my day. You know, working from home, it's like kind of challenging. You know, for a lot of people, like you know. I used to have the homies come back to my spot. It's like noon or 1, and they're stopping by my house. And I'm like, the fuck you doing here? I'm working. And, you know, people like don't realize that like just because you work at home, but I have to follow that process every day. If I don't follow that process, I'm not as productive. Like, and I dude, to anybody out there watching, it's like, there's no such thing as perfection, right? We're like doing positive additions and like revising the way that we interact with the world every day. But like I'm just following that process every morning, and that allows me. Also for me, like don't book all meetings. Like for me, like I have like impact meetings. So like on Tuesdays, I meet with my team. On Thursdays, I meet with full team. Outside of those, and I have a Friday with just the boys, where we just kind of like get lit. It's Friday, have a couple beers, and just reflect on what we did. But I don't like stack my whole day. Like if you're out there, like, and you gotta have like all the calls, like you're a young entrepreneur and you gotta have like your whole fucking day, like do that. But like for me, I don't have to do that no more. But I have to follow my routine. If I don't follow my routine, then like the day's like I'll get like a 4 out of 10. But if I follow the routine, it's a 10 out of 10.
Good advice.
Yeah, just routine.
Is this this obviously is in your first business? What other business have you had before this one?
Dude, okay, so like, yeah, when I got out of college, I worked for like this branding company, and it was like crazy. I was in 3rd year college, professional selling, and they were like, internet marketing, and I'm like, huh? What's internet marketing? Like, we're talking like there is no internet marketing. We created internet marketing. And so like once I did that, I was just like went on my own, lost the money. And then from there, I did affiliate marketing for 15 years. So that was my first business.
What does that entail in affiliate marketing?
Affiliate marketing is like kind of like an MLM. You know how people like do like Isogenics or all these MLMs?
MLM?
MLM being multi-level marketing.
Okay.
So like affiliate marketing is very similar to MLM. So like, but on MLM, you have to own the product. So like Isogenics is like one of those where, so I get someone else to buy, then I get a commission for that. So affiliate marketing is I get paid a commission for all these different brands if I create a new lead or sale for them.
Gotcha.
So I did that for 15 years. Then I moved to America in 2017, and I was like, oh, I'm going to keep doing affiliate marketing. This is fun. It's great. Like it's one of the hottest niches. Like when CBD, so the Farm Bill got approved in 2018, I found out it was CBD like 2 days after the Farm Bill got approved. Because in affiliate marketing, everyone's finding the next big thing fast.
What's the Farm Bill?
Farm Bill is so like it's like put through the government, where it's like all the agriculture, everything that exists within like even EBT is like in the Farm Bill. So basically, it's like a signature. And so what they did is they brought hemp off of a CSA, like like what is that? The Schedule 1. So hemp was like on a Schedule 1.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe don't quote me on that, but like it was like you couldn't do hemp. So they brought hemp into the Farm Bill. And we seen it at affiliate marketing, and all of a sudden I got like these affiliates, like people that are basically driving traffic to all these offers I have. And I was like, holy shit, dude, like CBD. I'm going to get back in the cannabis space. So we created a CBD company, everydayoptimalcbd.com. And we were like one of the first brands. We partnered with a guy, Alex, really good at SEO. So we went from like zero to like, what was it, like 0 to 100,000 in like 6 months? Like monthly, right? Like that's just the reoccurring now.
Mm-hmm.
And then from there, Everyday Optimal, I started noticing that cannabis was starting to like, we couldn't actually sell cannabis at this point. Like we could, but we did Mr. Hemp Flower. Mr. Hemp Flower was a brand where we sold hemp flower, which is a non-intoxicating form of cannabis. So like you have like marijuana and you have hemp, but they're all part of like cannabis. So we started selling like you could like buy like hemp flower is like really high in CBD, low in THC. So you like I smoke and I'm like I feel like kind of like la da 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 da, and so we did that. And we went from like $0 to $250,000 and like
per month.
Yeah, like in 14 months. So then it took like first month was like 5, and then it was like 15, and then it was like 30. But like within like 14, 16 months. We got to $250,000, and that's just like happening every month. And we were doing SEO based on like this. It was like, cause like cannabis, no one knows what's going on. So we were doing like, is CBD legal in Oklahoma? Is CBD in Arkansas? Is CBD legal in this? And so we created like a huge library of like all these articles. Cause everyone's like, ooh, I want to get some CBD, but is it legal? And so like, dude, all of a sudden we had SEO, just like thousands of people coming because Google is wanting to like reward websites that are educating the consumers on these things. Then I was part in another company called Endless Distribution. We had like 2 brands. We had Legals and we had Fitzgerald. And like Fitzgerald was like the vape, and then Legals was the CBD. And I partnered with a guy, Zach. He worked for Altria, like the people that own like the cigarette company.
Yeah.
She was like the #1 rep in like Kansas City. And so he knew that I knew about weed. So then we created Endless Distribution. We went, I don't know, dude. We went from like 0 to 600 stores in like 12 months, 14 months, 16, something like that. I don't know. It's all like, so we did that. And then we exited from all of that. And I just basically went in. I was like, okay, I'm going to do my own thing. So I created a distribution company, and that's how I found like the big winner was like, so I've like Everyday Optimal, 3, 4, I'm like on my 5th project now, but the last project was like the big hit. Because like basically I had a great group of marketers. I'm a great marketer, but I focused on weed. I don't know, dude. I remember sitting at Mr. Hemp Flower, and we would have like 30 strains. And I'm like opening the bags, you know, I'm in the back room just like, and every strain smelled different. I'm like, what the hell's going on? And like, obviously with cannabis, you kind of like figure that out. But it was like, then all of a sudden there was starting to be talk that like you have a transgenial nerve here. And when you smell cannabis, the way it interacts with your nose and your nerve, you can actually like dial it in. So I dialed in smelling the weed. And it was like, so indica like sits at the bottom of your nose, hybrid's like here, and then sativa's up here. Once you start to like figure that out, it's like, they're called terpenes, but like terpenes are like essential oils. You know what I mean? Like you have like limonene or pinene, and pinene's like pine, limonene's like lemons. But I was like, man, all this stuff smells different. And then this dude, Max, he came out with a Trichome Institute. And it was just like, you can actually smell weed and tell the effects. And nobody's thinking about this yet. So I like started doing these courses, and I'm out of Philly market. I'm just doing like those other like projects. I get to this point where I go out on my own and I start going to all these bud tenders, and I'm like, dude, tell me what this weed does. And they're like, we don't know. I'm like, give me something good for sleeping. They're like, we don't know. I'm like, what the hell's going on right now? So I launched, I got the packaging and everything ready for Paradise. And then this group approached me, and we took this company from $0 to $100 million
per year
in like 18 months.
Wow.
Like they're probably doing like $250 million now, like a year.
Holy shit.
But like I created that market. So like this is not my first rodeo. It is for lack of better terms.
Yeah.
And now it's like kind of like I'm gonna like just probably mess with cannabis for a hot minute here. But we do have like a new product coming out.
I was telling you at the beginning, we had someone had a coughing attack. I think I jinxed you. Wrong pipe.
Yeah.
Woo. All good.
So yeah, we're just gonna do cannabis. Probably for the next, I don't know, 2, 3, 5 years. But I want to get into like some other parts of cannabis that people haven't even thought about yet. But I can't like put that on the pod yet.
Yeah, no.
I can't put that on the pod, dude. But like we're like probably like another 3 steps where I can keep making money in this. But outside of that, I think like, you know, I'm going to get back to my islander kind of thing. I'm from a small island, dude, like a town of 1,300 people, graduated to like 13,000, 400,000. Now I'm out here in America. But like, I like getting my hands dirty. So I want to like build a hobby farm and then kind of figure out how to do like ecotourism as well.
Yeah,
that's like
that.
Yeah, like ecotourism. Like I'm in Asheville, one of the most like the oldest mountain range, Appalachian Mountains. I want to like have like a huge like cannabis farm, and then have like all my goats, my chickens, my rabbits, my boars, whatever. And then people come through and they're like, oh, I got 5 Airbnbs or like 5 little mini places, and do ecotourism. And then like that will be like kind of like my life is fulfilled. Like, okay, cool, I did the marketing, but like what I really want to do is get my hands and my feet dirty and kind of get to that. So like I'm just gonna ride the cannabis thing. I might go into psilocybin. Like we'll just like based on how things are going, but I would like to get in like there's functional mushrooms, chaga, lion's mane, all this. But it's like cannabis market is like, let's say it's 200 million people in America. Functional mushrooms is like 20 million people. Like, why do I want to fuck with a niche that's like so small and just emerging?
Right. Yeah, and that's funny. I don't know if we talked about that at all, but that's like very similar plan for me as well. Is like exiting this. I'm purchasing the land out in Panama, doing, which was funny that you said you spent some time in Panama.
Yeah. I was stoked when you were like, was it like 18 acres or something?
Yeah, 18 acres. Yeah, just like it's a butts up against the national forest. Like I'm big into like, I want to have this fully sustainable property with no inputs, like growing my food on property, having like a community of like thought leaders and like-minded people. I bought it outright. So like at the end of the day, I'm trying to make money off of it. But at the end of the day, if I can get the right people, I'll just give the fucking lots away. And then want to build like a sick community where like people are coming together, whether it's like creating businesses or like coming up with ideas to
kind of like a WeWork, but on your property.
Yeah, like a WeWork, but I'm less of a nut job than Adam Newman.
How to like build how to build an IPO and make it go away real fast.
Yeah, so he just did that with Selena too. I don't know if you've heard of that company. It's like this massive hostel.
He's just taking WeWork to hostels.
Yeah, well, they just like, I guess they went public, they pumped and dumped, like investors just fucked the big investors just fucked all the little guys, and so typical Adam Newman, like pulls out, makes a bunch of money, and fucks everyone else. But yeah, they're right next door to my property. And my mentor helped them like build their first location, which was in Petitsi, in Panama, on the Zuero Peninsula, right next door I'm building. So there's already that kind of like community of entrepreneurs, but I want to bring together like more entrepreneurs and have like a little, not a WeWork, like a jungle Silicon Valley.
Well, in Panama is like one of the places to do it, dude. Like it's just like beautiful country.
100%, and like just have like surfing, yoga, like all the Eastern philosophy stuff, and like
what do you think? Like you said something about a mentor. Like how important do you think like mentorship is, like as an entrepreneur, like having mentors? Like
well, it's like my mentor gave me this advice, but it's like, are you on the 40-year plan or are you on the 5-year plan? Like you can't hit your goals. Like, why did I enter entrepreneurship? Why did I put in all this time I love entrepreneurship, but why did I put all this time into a business? Like, it was because I don't want to work for 60 years. So I, in my brain, looking big picture, was like, how can I achieve the amount of money that I need to support the lifestyle that I want to live every single day in the fastest amount of time? And that was not through like learning these things through my own trial and error and process. I was like, let me find the person that is embodying the life that I want to live and just drain the knowledge out of his brain as fast as possible. Be a
sponge.
Exactly. So I went down and moved down to Panama. I found that guy who lived in Panama, and I went down and moved into his house.
Damn. You actually moved there to be with your mentor?
Yeah.
That's badass.
I had been building the company for 2 years. We were doing like a couple $1 million a year at this point. I ended up getting fucked over by doing this. I like left, when the cats are away, the mice will play, which he helped me out a lot with. But what I said to my partners at the time was like, there's this guy that I think can help us like get through this plateau that we're in right now. Like, it's very important that I go next to him because he is going to help us scale this business up. So they were like, yeah, that's great. We'll run the business like stateside while you go do that. So I literally moved in with this guy and like helped him with a bunch of stuff, build trust with him, was like trying to be more of a giver than a taker. And after like 7 months of being on his doorstep, like just fucking around with him.
Like, bro, I'm here again. He's like, oh, welcome back.
After the first time I met him, I was there 2 weeks later, and he was like, yeah, you can like get mentorship for me. And he has all these properties throughout Panama. So he's like, I mean, sleep on the couch if you want. And like, I don't even think he knew my name the first like couple months. And then like started helping him out, was like, trying to give him value. And then eventually I was like, 6-8 months later, like, you want to take a look at my business? And he got involved. Now he's like one of the biggest shareholders of my company. But he came back and was like, he came back and was like, yeah, those partners that you got, they're going to fuck you over. And 3 months like later, after he told me that, I was like, no, they're fine, blah, blah, blah. And like 3 months after he told me that, like, this guy's intuition is so high, exactly what he said happened. And he helped me get out of that pickle. And that's how I ended up moving to Charleston. The business was in Florida at the time. So through the settlement agreement and blah, 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 I ended up moving up here and basically restarting the business, which, looking back, like getting fucked over by them and like separating from them was the best thing that ever happened to me, because I was like really limited in my entrepreneurial like creativity, because I was trying to be a good partner and like adhering to these guys that weren't entrepreneurs at all, that had been kind of implanted within my company because of a person had given me.
That was actually one of the biggest things that I learned too, is that like you can't have too many chefs in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Like in my entrepreneurial career until like, 3 or 4 years ago, I had like, I love business partners. I'm all about it. But like, if every cook wants to be in the kitchen, it's just like, there's so much like, oh, we got to have daily meetings. We got to do this. We got to do that. It's like, that's great. But once I went on my own and then I created the entrepreneurs in my circle, that's when shit fucking took off.
And that's what happened to me. Like,
because everyone wants to cook. Everyone's like, well, I got this idea. And it's like, you can't actually get any ideas because there's a conflict between 5 people.
And I felt that same way. Like, I had this entrepreneurial vision. I had built the company for like, I'd spent all this time like putting the things in place to start the company. Then as like a young guy, I met this, other mentor that I had, and he was like, I'm gonna give you 50 grand to like jumpstart your business. So at that point I'm like, where's the dotted line? Let me sign. And didn't really look at the like, the stipulations that came with that. And he implanted these two people, like, these will be good partners for you. But it was really like watching his investment. And I still love the guy, the guy who gave me the money. He didn't have any like malintent from it. But these guys were just employees of his company that he was going through a merger. He broke them off, put him in to watch my investment. And they were like, when they first came on with me, they were making $500 a week. That first year that they were with me, each of them made over 200 grand. So like they were catapulted. And like,
that sounds like a good clickbait. How I took someone from 500 a week to 200 grand a year.
And also like, I like wear that as a badge. Like every person that I've ever done business with ends up getting rich, like being a part of this like vision. But I have a problem with like being kind of a yes man and like trying to like empower people too much and letting them encroach on my vision. And that it's like starts going out of my control. So that's what happened with them. And I've learned my lesson.
I like what you're saying there, though. Is like, so like for me, as an entrepreneur and then like leading, like 9 other VPs and like building a company is like, so it's like, how do you like have everyone validated? How do you have everyone feel heard? But then also like making your moves, right? Because you have all this perspective. And so like for me, I love perspective, but I also know my lane. So it's like I can be impressionable in a conversation and like take a lot of value out of that and then bring it into this. So it's like, it's the opposite of like selfish. It's like you're listening to everybody and like everybody's got great ideas, but like who knows how to fucking execute? Who knows how to make money? It's like, so that's how you got to roll it, right? It's like, it's just like you're like, okay, cool. Like you're making people rich, but you're also taking their perspectives and then like kind of formulating it to like that because you're the leader.
Yeah. And you got to take the ego out of it. And it seems like you have no ego and that's why you're successful.
Dude, you got to have I definitely got an ego, man. I got an ego and it. I got all those things, right? I'm a human being, but
you got to remove it from your decisions and
yeah. And like, if I want to have an ego, I have that ego with my girl, right? Or like, like, or with my boys, and like just like kind of shoot the shit and get that out rather than like projecting it on your team.
100%.
Like, definitely no ego.
When you said you were in this company like that got to 100 million, what lessons did you learn from like being in something at that scale?
Dude, it was like fucking badass, honestly. Like some of the biggest challenges in that was like scale, right? And like forecasting. So like, okay, we're doing like 50 grand, then it's like 150 grand. And like, but we're advertising on Meta and we're spending like $150,000 a day. Like $3 to $4.5 million a month. And like with those mechanisms, comes like market saturation. So like it's hard to like understand what the scalability is. So, it's like, we're using like Tableau through like Salesforce, all the forecasting tools. So like when I'm like, that was the hard part was like scalability. And then, like I'm talking to like 80 to 100 growers in America, like that are growing CBD flower. And like the scalability is tough because like for me, as the procurement, like I'm procuring, like I think I like sent like 5,000 pounds of cannabis through the USPS last year, like a lot of bud. and then to be like interacting. So the digital team's telling me like, here's the forecasting. And then they're like, their forecast is off. It's actually like more. So then I have to go and procure more product. Well, guess what? You can only grow so much product. So like I'm trying to like be this middleman in a sense of like the digital team and the growers can only grow so much and the digital team can do this. So like having the ability to like use my intuition to like outside of it, that was the hard part. It was like scalability. And I fucking did a great job at it. Like we literally
crushed it.
But yeah, like some of the things I learned also is like, I really like admire like the processes and the tools, right? So like we would use like ClickUp. ClickUp is like a process-based thing. So like everyone's in there, but it's like, so a product comes in to the warehouse. It's a brand new product, comes to the warehouse. So it needs to have a label made. It needs to have the bottle. It has to have feedback. You need to get your certificate of analysis. So like you would like ClickUp had like 20 stages and you take it to stage 2. Stage 2 would notify automatically all the people that needed to be on that task. Then it went from task 2 to task 3. Then it would notify those people. Okay, cool. We've got all the COA. Now we got to put this on the label, blah, 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 blah. So like to streamline things at $100 million company, you can't just like not have like those tools. Like there's turnover, right? You got new staff coming in, old staff leaving, all this stuff. But if you don't have all of those tools, like, okay, Betsy comes in and she's on task 3. Well, how does she know what task 3 is? But you're in ClickUp, it's boom. She gets a notification or email. Done. So like having those kind of like processes and tools and automation made it like ability to scale. So like processes, but that was like the hardest thing was like scalability. It's like, dude, this was the first time in my life where, you know, in 18 months, we went from $0 to $100 million and I'm the person procuring the product and then interacting with all the growers to like coordinate, you know, thousands of pounds and then getting it to the facility. It's tricky, dude.
Yeah. And that's a good segue into my next question. I have a kind of a love-hate relationship with technology because like you can have these products with all these features, but unless you implement them, they're kind of useless and they're just like burning cash. What are like must-have websites or pieces of technology or like things that you utilize that if you went to another company, you'd be like, these are things that we got to get?
Great question.
And what do they do?
Yeah, I'm going to be basic on this one. Slack, you know, internal communication with Slack, just to have like all of your departments, like, you know, like I have like a formulating channel, I have a fulfillment channel, I have a customer service channel, and there's only the key members in those channels. So like Slack, it's great for internal communication. A big one that I like to use is Notion. So Notion's like a project management tool where you can basically like, it's kind of like ClickUp, but like more big level. So like you have all the granular tasks. Well, Notion is like, has like the bird's eye view. It has like every department. It's like, say I need you to do something, Jack. I just like go into Notion, I create a task, tag you. You get a notification, boom. Then I don't have to think about anything. Like I don't have to like think about like, oh, I got to follow up with this, follow up with that, do this. It's just automated. Like you and I were talking about like HubSpot with your sales, right? It's like automating and accountability. So it's like once you get to like a big level, like you have to have those tools. So like Notion, Slack, ClickUp, you know, HubSpot or something like a CRM if you're doing like that. We use like ShipStation, which is like our shipping. So like my website's hosted, don't hate me for this, not Shopify, WooCommerce, more for the customization. And then so WooCommerce attaches to like all these like different tools, and like so a sale comes in, boom, it goes to like my ShipStation. My the fulfillment team is like notified that there's a new order, then they ship it, and then after that, then it's automated email to the customer with that shipping information. Zapier is a big one for like if this then that. Basically, like Zapier, you just pull in the APIs of all the different things. So like there's like a manual task that I have to do. I don't have to do it. I create the content for the email, boom, that calls this, and then that happens. So like, otherwise it's just like a lot of manual work and you can't scale.
Yeah. Do you use any tools for like analysis of your data, your marketing data, and like optimization tools, anything like that? That you would recommend?
Yeah. So when it comes to like data, it's a really interesting one. So what we do is like we download the reports and then shout out ChatGPT, you know, basically like what us as humans, you know, like I can like break down all the data. So like I have milestones. So like we just launched this new part of the website. How did our conversion rate? Well, I have all of this documented, and then I just upload it to ChatGPT and I say, give it all the prompts. I'm not going to give you guys all my prompts, but you know, prompts, and then it literally will like make a visual database. And so I can like, so I think like using like AI for really condensed Excel spreadsheets or like all this data, like I don't have to have a data analyst. I can have a data analyst, but like they're just using
ChatGPT.
Yeah. And then it makes it all visual. But yeah, there's like, let me think about like a tool for like data. Like all of our data is like put into what we use is like Looker Studio. So Looker Studio is like a tool within Google. So it attaches its API to Facebook, like Meta. And so, and then it attaches to WooCommerce. So then it has like how much media, like how much did I spend that day? How many sales did I get? What's my return on ad spend? What's my average cost per click? How many impressions I got? But then it breaks it down by ad. So I can like literally see every single ad. This ad spent $70 today and it made $300. Oh, cool. My return on ad spend's like 4. Then I have this other ad spent $200, made 0 sales. So it pulls all that data in, and I can just like, so Looker Studio is a huge one for the data, and then Google Tag Manager.
When you're doing an ad through Meta, how much is like a good budget per week to test something?
That would actually go back to my affiliate marketing days. So like, say like I had, say I get paid $100 per acquisition, right? So I would generally spend 2 to 3 times that. So like, it just depends on what your acquisition costs. And if you don't know your acquisition costs, well, you're going to be in a troubling spot. You know, for me,
how do you figure that out if you don't have that data?
Well, I'd say like ask someone like me, maybe ask someone like you.
So you can figure that out just by like, without running a test on it, you can like conceptualize it.
Yeah, I would conceptualize it, but like it all like, okay, for example, like there's like high ticket like phone sales where people are buying like biz op opportunities. Well, maybe I spent $1,000 because my payout's like $5,000. So it's like, I think it comes down to like the cost of the product, right? So like in cannabis, you know, on average, like our average like ticket is between like $70 and $110 depending on the day. So I like, and that means like, so someone comes in, they make a purchase, they're not just making a pre-roll, you know what I mean? They're buying like an eighth, some gummies and a pre-roll. And so, yeah, it's tricky. I would say like, you know, I spend between $100 and $200 a day just to start on a weekly, you know, like just to like feel the market and like literally like my CTR. I'm always just looking at CTR. If I'm getting good engagement, right? So
CTR?
Click-through rate. So someone like clicks my ad. Holy shit, I got a 9% conversion or CTR. So they land on my page. Well, my conversion rate from there is 1%. So then I will like use another tool like this, Hotjar. Basically what Hotjar does is it like records the consumer screen. So when they come, they click the ad, my CTR is high. Good intent. They come to the landing page. No one's buying, or like 1% are buying. Well, Hotjar records that, so I can actually see that the way people interact with it, like they can scroll. I can see where they click, what they read, and then it heat maps it. So there's like an actual heat map, so I can see where people are engaging,
Spending the most time,
and where they're bouncing. And so like if my intent's high but the conversion's low, then I know it's my landing page. So I gotta improve my messaging.
That's really interesting.
Yeah.
I've had difficulty like with my product. So I have a super high ticket item.
What's high?
Minimum $100,000 like per contract.
Yep.
Really long sales cycle. 12 to 18 month sales cycle. Zero competition in the space with a lot of opportunity, but a very small niche of decision makers that are making the decision on that opportunity, and they're extremely hard to target, like golf course superintendents and HOA property managers. So
yeah, how do you target those people?
Exactly, and that's I have been able to do it in no other way than cold calling, you know, just like directly marketing to them, which is like takes a lot of labor and a lot of resources. And a lot
especially if it's a 12 to 18 months sales cycle, you know, just to get to like, you got to get through the gatekeeper, and then you like finally it's like you get to the decision maker and it's like, oh, it's not actually the decision maker. I got to go to the next channel. It's like, yeah. I can't imagine doing that on Meta.
Yeah, so I've like tried to, and like it hasn't really worked, but it would be so sick if we could like turn our process and automate it. And you know, business is great when you don't have to utilize people, but we haven't figured that out yet.
Yeah, like for us, we also do like retail. Like, so we want retail shops to come and promote Paradise in their shop. Well, how do I target all these store owners, right? Well, I just target people that like cannabis, or that, you know, Facebook's algorithm, once you get like 5 sales a day, it starts like, it's like, oh, we know the type of person you'd like to target. But then how do I get retail people? Well, those are the people that are just there, right?
So you're just trying to find other like distribution channels through interesting.
Yeah. Like, so the retail people are like, oh, I've seen this Paradise ad like 40 times. I'm a store owner. But like, how do you do that in your market? It's tricky. Like cold calling makes sense.
Yeah.
Or like referrals.
Yeah, referrals are big. It'd be nice if we could figure it out, but haven't dialed that in quite yet. What is the, and I'm almost done here.
We're chilling.
What is the biggest lesson that you've learned throughout all your time as an entrepreneur, or the most important thing that you didn't know when you first started out that you know now that you wish you knew when you first started?
Let's have like a little, let's have like a segue. Let's like think of like, I'm going to like put that in my mind. But like, what's the biggest lesson? Let's build up. Give me another little side quest.
Okay. So what is your definition of success? That was my last question.
I would say like, my definition of success right now is like really privy to like how my team feels. Like if my team is like happy and they're performing and they're doing their things, then that's success. But like, how do I like define what success is for the team, right? Is like to have like specific SOPs, So like, I think if you're like out there, like you need to have like SOPs. Like, so for example, like I have some staff, they come in and I'm having them trim cannabis. So I've trimmed like 2,000 pounds in my life. So I'm like, I take every strain I had, all 30 strains, and I seen what the average time was to trim a pound. So then some staff come in and they're like, hey, you get your default wage is like 15 an hour or something. It's like, if you are better than this, you get a raise. If you're lower than this, we got to figure out how to improve. And if not, maybe we're not a match. So like SOPs and KPIs within your business is like fundamental. Like, so like, I don't know if that like kind of ties into that, but like the biggest lesson.
Or I could rephrase the question. What piece of advice would you give someone that's starting out as an entrepreneur?
If I was starting out as an entrepreneur, it just like depends on like if you like love what you're doing right now. Like if you don't love what you're doing, well then go find something you do love. Like I've just always liked marketing and sales, and that evolved to like, branding with Fortune 500, Inc. 5000, to then moving into affiliate marketing and like building leads and customers. Like I think I've probably generated like 5 million customers in my like career, like, like probably like 10 or 15,000 leads. And I love doing that. Like, I like that transaction. It's just like, I like making money. And so when you're like doing that, but if you're not like enjoying what you're doing, then figure out how to do that, Like, I don't know how else to explain it.
Yeah, that's great advice.
Yeah.
Are there any like business models that you would say are like a good intro, like business structure to start off as an entrepreneur? I see like people like bringing ideas to me and they're like, I'm going to manufacture this product. I'm just like, dude, like don't get into manufacturing. But is there anything like any specific structures? Like I love like the affiliate marketing as you described it. That's a sick model. But
I think that like, yeah, if you're like an entrepreneur and you are really wanting to like figure out how to make money, get into affiliate marketing and like focus on something you like. Like, so if you like running or like you have kids, like I remember when like, I don't have any kids, but like I remember I went to ClickBank and I picked a niche, potty training. Like everybody wants to do, like, you got to figure out how to potty train your kids. So I did that. Started making some money, but like figure out like if you like fishing, sell fishing reels, make a blog, like start making content and focusing on like that. And then trying to figure out like alchemy, like, for in the cannabis space, I like created this marketing angle that never existed before. So like kind of like if you can create like 2 different niches and bridge them together, it's like we're in 2024. There's so much alchemy happening right now. It's like trying to think about like how to like dial this in and like give some like good guidance, like, but like build your own offer. That's like, I got some Facebook groups. I'll look on my phone here in a minute, but like there's a couple Facebook groups where it's like you're a young entrepreneur and you're trying to figure out how to like do this. There's people that have already done this, and it's literally like, so for me, I like cannabis. I created a cannabis brand. You got to have capital, right? So how do you build capital? Well, you promote other people's products and you get commissions for that.
100%.
Like it's like, so you gotta grind, dude. And I don't like the word grind because like grinding doesn't sound fun. Like I like hustling and stuff, but like we're living in 2024, and to become a successful entrepreneur, you got to stand out in the crowd. So like I said earlier, like go to Reddit, you start seeing all the pain points of all these different things. We'll find out what you're passionate with. It's like fishing reels. Like what's the top 5 pain points of fishing reels? Cool. Build a fishing reel. It's like that. Or
that's sick advice. No, that's really good advice. And I'll have you send the groups to Sam, and we'll plug them at the bottom of the episode in the bio too.
Yeah, and there's Alex, dude. He literally
Alex Hormozy.
No. I like, yeah. Like School, like that dude's sick.
Yeah.
No, it's another Alex guy, Santana or something like that. But like, basically teaches people how to build an offer. So it's like how to like get Shopify, how to integrate it, like how to get fulfillment, how to do that. But everything's dropship these days. So you like the overhead of like starting your own offer is like minimal. The hardest part is like, dude, if you're in 2024 and you're a young entrepreneur and you do not know how to make a website or like how to like do these things, like, dude, I don't know what, just ask the AI and it'll tell you. Like, you know what I mean? It's just not rocket science. You know, it's like, I remember my old business partner, his like daughter was like 2 and she figured out how to turn the phone off airplane mode so she could play games. So if a 2-year-old can figure out how to turn an airplane mode off, like, dude, there's like communities like that are teaching people like this.
Yeah, no, I think it's really good advice. And I mean, you are in my opinion, the definition of an entrepreneur.
Yo, mad respect on that.
And I mean, your success is inspiring, and I congratulate you on everything that you've done. Like, it's super clear that your knowledge base is extensive, and I think people are going to really like this podcast. If they want to reach out to you or like they're interested in your services, like where can they get more information? Where can they find you?
Yo, great question. LinkedIn, probably my number one spot. Like I said, my IG just got banned. But on LinkedIn, Facebook, you can find me at Michael D. Rich. If you want to reach out to me directly, I'm not going to put my phone number out there, but you can do Michael at adistributioncompany.com. Go check out the brand, Unlock Paradise. But yeah, like, you know, LinkedIn is kind of my jam. So if you want to like reach out to me, or if you know Jack personally, or you're within the network, like, I'm here.
Hell yeah, man. I appreciate you coming on. This has been awesome.
Yo, this is lit. Thank you so much, man. This is a great pod.
All right, guys. Well, that concludes this episode of Shakin' Hands. I hope you enjoyed. If you have any more suggestions for guests or questions that you want to be asked, don't hesitate to reach out. But otherwise, tune in next time for some more interesting conversations. See ya.